somebody gets on the train as well and says to me, they go, "Are you famous?" And I said, "I don't know. Am I?" Which I think is a good reply.
That's hot, dude.
Bro, it's a good reply. She goes, "I don't know. Are you?" And I said, "Well, I guess it depends who you ask. It's all relative. These things are all relative." And her friend goes, "That is a good point." Right? This is funny. This is good.
It's a long exchange before finding out.
Then the girl goes, she goes, "Well, if you are famous, congratulations. And if you're not, there's still time."
What?
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Oops, the podcast. Julio and Ryan, two guys.
Ryan and Julio. It's a Tuesday. We're in your car. We're in your ear. And we're happy to be here.
It's pretty good, Ryan.
Thank you.
It's pretty good.
What's up, everybody? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're being safe.
Agreed. Yes. I hope you're feeling good, doing it up. Welcome to some of our new listeners, and hello to our OG listeners, and somebody who came right in during the middle. Welcome to you as well. Welcome to all.
Welcome to everybody.
All faiths.
Even the Mountain Dew man, if he's joined us in the past week.
Even the Mountain Dew man.
Next time I walk by him, I'm going to let him
saw him?
know. I haven't. I've avoided the tunnel.
I don't go down there that much. I was just down there for that one day, but what up to the Mountain Dew man as well. Lots to talk about today. Lots of good stuff going on. So I have a question for you, Ryan. Have you ever stayed with your in-laws? We'll call them in-laws for all intents and purposes, without your significant other?
That's a great question. I don't believe I have yet.
Yeah.
I don't believe I have.
That's a new level.
Yeah, and you've done that this past weekend, or this past week.
I just did it this past week. Did we talk? We talked about how I was going to get a hotel and everybody thought that was weird. We may not have talked about that. Okay, so originally I was going to go to Chicago. I was already in the Midwest. I figured maybe pop in, promote some of my upcoming shows, doing some Barstool, which they were making fun of me for. They're like, "Okay, so you're in Chicago via Detroit promoting Boston." I'm like, "Yes." They're like, "Okay, great." Anyway, 1st of June, Lynch is going to be there too. Come on down. Loud Boston. It's going to be great. Anyway, so I figured pop in, hang, do some shows, maybe do some pods, whatever. And I was going to get a hotel. And Hillary was like, "Where are you staying?" And I said, "A hotel." And she was like, "Why? That's so weird." And then it turned out that the hotel I was considering staying at was actually closer to her family's house than would have, like, she said that thinking that I was staying sort of downtown, but I think maybe I found a good price or something. Mm-hmm. So I was staying a little bit outside of the city. And when she found that out, she's like, "This would literally be insane if you didn't stay with my parents." Mm-hmm. Like, they're happy to have you, blah, blah, blah.
They love you, Julio.
Her sister was also going to be there for a portion of the time. And she said, "I agree with Hillary. You'd be crazy if you didn't stay with us." So it's like, all right. So I decided to do it. And, dude, it was great.
That's great, dude.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to do it.
Yeah. Do you?
I don't know. There's something about, especially if the hotel is that close to their house, it just gives off suspicious vibes.
Yeah, agreed.
If you were to be in their area and opt to pay money to stay at a hotel, especially when Hill Dog's not there. A little suspicious. So
they have a good setup too. You know what I mean? Like it's the house is without a doubt more than accommodating. I mean, it's a great pad. I just sort of in my head was like, okay, if I happen to have weird hours or, I don't know. I didn't want to be disruptive. I didn't want to be like coming home late, which didn't end up happening anyway, but like, I don't know, dude.
Thinking about how intricate their alarm system is. Are you going to trigger it if you have to get home at 1 a.m?
Well, yeah, I didn't even think of that. But when I was there, they had said, I heard them talk amongst each other that they would not be turning the alarm on at all while I was there. Because just in case I, in the middle of the night, wanted to go out, which wasn't going to happen and didn't happen. But yeah, dude, I did it. It ended up being great. you know, in my head too, I was like, okay, like I don't want to just like be in their hair. I don't know. I get terrified sometimes thinking about a scenario where I'm like overwearing. I've overworn my welcome. Is that the term? I've overstayed my welcome.
Overstayed your welcome.
You know, that just sounds tough, like a tough situation. Like, oh, he's still here. What's he doing here? They feel me there.
Yeah, but you are their future son-in-law, like your family.
Right.
That wouldn't cross my mind. If it was one of Hill Dog's friends, that's where that could be entertained. Or if it is someone more out of the inner circle, you're in the circle, your family. I think there's no issue there.
I know.
But it's the first time, so I can see why there's a little anxiety behind that. But it played out swimmingly, it seems.
You just don't want to let your guard down. You know what I mean? Suddenly, because dude, I say this all the time, but I walk around with the shame of like very insignificant moments where I felt uncomfortable or embarrassed. I don't forget them. And it'll be something that person immediately forgets. So maybe I'm like hypersensitive or something or whatever it is, but I just fear those moments maybe more than the average person, or maybe not. Maybe I don't. And maybe I certainly can think of one or two friends who maybe fear them more than me, but in a slightly different way. Maybe I just don't know. But for example, like one time somebody that I knew was selling their house or something. And I was like, oh, I'll put in an offer. Like, how much are you asking for? It was a joke. Like, this house was going to be so expensive. This person has a lot of money. And I obviously was not going to be bidding on the house. But for whatever reason, they didn't realize I was joking when I said that. And their reaction to me saying that I was going to bid on the house, how quickly they laughed in my face and dismissed me, I will never forget it. Bro, it was the most insignificant thing. So like little things like that. So I'm always scared that something like that is going to happen. And sometimes when I'm alone, I'm like, all right, at least that can't happen right now because no one else is here.
But didn't they do what you wanted them to do, which was laugh? Or was it a condescending laugh?
It was such a condescending laugh.
And it was a serious
and I then made it clear that
intake of that question.
I then made it clear that I was obviously not going to, like it was obvious. Once I gauged that reaction, I was like, I need to make it clear that.
Make that face.
So I tripled down. I was like, yeah, I'll call my guy. I'll have him move some things around. I added a little more satire into my voice. I wanted to make sure he realized I was kidding immediately because experiencing what it would have been like if I had been serious was nearly unbearable. And I walk around thinking about those moments all day long, every single day. And I'm trying to get better, bro.
Yeah.
Shout out to our girl, Taylor. Who posted that meme. I forget what it said, but it was something about being cringe and not caring.
Yeah.
That was the greatest thing I've ever seen. And I felt liberated for a couple of days. And then I started stewing about minor shit yet again. Yeah,
I forget what it was. What was it? Something to do with dancing like an idiot?
No, it was like something about being truly comfortable with yourself is knowing you're being cringe and not caring and doing it anyway.
Yeah,
I think
that's a great quote.
It's a good quote.
Well, I don't want to unpack this any much more.
We can.
But if just to pull back a zipper.
Let's pull it back.
In the suitcase for a second, what were some of your...
That's a new one, and I like it.
Peel back the zipper?
That's a new one, and I like it.
Nice. I like that you like it. I love that. I love that you like it.
Let's utilize the zipper.
What was one of your apprehensions before going on the trip? Why was this coming to mind before this visit?
I don't know. I would do something wrong and I'd leave the refrigerator open and then they'd be so annoyed that the refrigerator was open for a variety of reasons, including the fact that all the dairy had now spoiled and they need to throw it all out. Or maybe I space out for a second and I make a mess, or I leave my glass somewhere and I forget to put it in the sink or in the dishwasher. And now I've left the glass and they're like, wow, Julio is really taking our hospitality for granted. He's making a huge mess. What a bum. Or, any variety of those kind of things. Plus, maybe we have I don't know, bro. I just don't know.
I get it.
The stakes felt high.
I get it. I understand those situations.
But her parents are a good hang. We had a great time. And there was nothing to have worried about. But with no hill dog there. It was just like it was a new thing.
Yeah.
You know? It was
Well, good. I'm glad it went well.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that, leaving something behind like a glass. When I was you had to run out last week when we were done recording, and I was putting stuff away, and I was just checking my normal corners, making sure I didn't leave anything behind. And then I did one more check. Don't know why. I did one more check, had a hunch, and my plastic coffee cup was on the floor behind the couch. And I had scenarios run to my head where Hill Dog discovers that, because you probably wouldn't look there. And then her saying, what the fuck is this? And then you being like, oh shit, that's Ryan's coffee. And then that becoming a thing. And then you setting stricter boundaries when I come to work on the podcast.
Like, hey,
and
Ryan,
I know it probably wouldn't have been that big of a deal, but big enough of a deal where something must be said. Like, don't leave your cups behind.
I'd be like, hey, you know what? I think we should.
Hey man,
why don't we make sure that
let's like scan the room before we leave?
Let's
How about
just
that?
make sure our coffee glasses are in the garbage. No, Ryan, no, you don't have to worry about that. But that is funny. I relate to that too.
But that's it. Like it's
a similar thing.
That's it.
I would do when we were doing the show at Francis's house. I would occasionally forget to bus my water glass, and I would then feel bad about it.
Bus your water glass.
Bus my water glass, or whatever.
That's
Leave a water bottle
reference
behind, which is extra because Francis hates plastic. So that is like a twofer. Not only have I left it behind, but it is also a lifestyle choice that I'm making that he doesn't agree with. So it's like it's a twofer.
Yeah, it's like leaving dog shit on your friend's driveway.
That's exactly what it's like.
Yeah, I wouldn't like that. Yeah, I'm very comfortable in Vic's family's home. So much to the point where people are cleaning up after dinner, and I will like sit on the couch and play on my phone, and Mr. or Mrs. Johnson will be like, "Right, come on." And I'd be like,
really?
And I can be like a little like resist and be like, yep, I'm coming.
Interesting.
Fine, yeah, fine. What do you need? What do you need? What do you need me to do? Take out the trash? Gone. Got it. Then I go play on my phone in their driveway for an extra 10 minutes because I'm outside, because I'm taking out the trash. Right, you know, like that's a big thing. Oh, what? Victoria's like, what's Ryan doing? Where'd he go? We have so much going on. And her mom will be like, he's taking out the trash. And then she looks out the window. I'm like standing by the trash can, like scrolling on TikTok. And I'm like, what? Sorry, my bad. I'm trying to help out.
Nice.
My bad. So I'm very comfortable in their home.
I've never gotten there with anybody, but that's really great. I want to be there someday.
Yeah.
I'm sure I will.
Yeah.
When you get married, that tends to happen. But bro, I remember one time my dad and my girlfriend at the time's mom got snippy with each other.
Really?
Yeah. I forget what she was saying.
Yikes.
We were all in the car together. She said something that annoyed him, and it had been kind of building, and he sort of snapped. And thinking about it now makes me want to die.
The four of you, her mom, your dad, the two of you.
I don't know if she was even there or if it was my mom. I don't even remember the combination. I just remember my dad snapping, and I want to die right now. I wish I were dead.
Yikes.
No, I don't. I want to be alive.
We want you to be alive.
I'm happy to be
No
there.
shame.
No shame.
No shame. Do you know what's something uncomfortable that happens at Victoria's family's house?
What?
I'll be there on a weekday. Let's say we go up for a long weekend. We get there on Thursday or Friday. I'm working. Their bathroom is a ranch styled home.
Okay.
Which is I think it's like a bunch of like short levels. Is that what a ranch style home is?
We lived in a raised ranch.
A raised ranch.
I don't know
I'm trying
what
to think
the
about.
difference.
I'm trying to think about the style of your house. It's similar, but when you walk into their house, there's like 5 different levels. This doesn't matter.
5 different levels?
5 different floors, but from the outside, it just looks like 2 floors. They have a basement. They have a mud room with a living room, then a little bit of stairs, then another living room with a kitchen, then another little bit of stairs with bedrooms, and then another little bit of stairs for the master bedroom.
That's fun.
Regardless, sorry guys, that's not important. What I wanted to say was the main bathroom is right across from Vic's mom's office. And during the day, it's dead silent. And so when I have to go to the bathroom, I am uncomfortable because her office door is always open, and the proximity between the toilet seat and her seat at the desk is probably about like 12 feet.
So she can hear the heavy flow.
She might hear an echo.
She can fully hear.
An echo, a kerplunk, and I get insecure about that.
So do you try to aim on the side of the water so that it doesn't go directly into the water, but that makes a mess?
No, I'm talking about when I have to sit down.
But what about but standing makes noise.
Yeah, but that's a piss.
So that you're fine with that.
Fine with the piss. I'd like for her to hear me peeing because that means I'm taking a piss and I'm not, poo-pooing.
I don't know that. Do you think that she's like, oh, thank God, he's
not, oh, thank God, but I am the background noise to her work in that moment, and there's no way of avoiding it.
So if you were to be,
it's just a vulnerable spot.
If you were rushing to the bathroom because you really needed to go, there's a chance it could be loud, and that would be embarrassing.
It's more so I don't want her. It's like you and Hill Dog talking about the bathroom as well. Like you don't want to talk about it. You want to pretend like it's not happening.
I'm talking about her mom though.
But I'm talking about her mom. I don't want her mom to hear me going to the bathroom.
So do you ever try to make noise? Do you let the water run, or do you play music, or do you go?
I'll cough. I'll flush the toilet during release, but that's it. I just wanted to say that. That's something that I'm insecure about.
Is that the only bathroom in the house?
There's also one in the basement, but then that one is just like I'm going downstairs to take a shit.
Does that have a shower in the basement?
No.
One shower?
No.
No, I'm saying one shower in the house though.
Oh. There's one bathroom with a shower. That's not her parents.
Got it. And her parents have a shower in their bathroom.
Yes.
Nice.
So that's it. I just want to let you know. I just wanted to open up to you and let you know moments of vulnerability when I'm in my partner's home.
That was great of you to open up there.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
We only had one shower in my house, and everybody would use it, and we'd have family come over and stay over. So I got very used to people just walking around the house in a towel, any gender, any relation. Mm-hmm. Whether it's my parents or my cousins or whoever, people walking around in towels was normal for me. And I'm learning as I get a little bit older that it's not normal for everyone. And that's been interesting, Ryan.
It's interesting.
To learn. Dude, seeing your family in towels is not normal for everyone.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp.
Guys, life is tough. It's tough out there in this dynamic world we're living in. Therapy is a great tool to help yourself get through whatever challenges or complications you might be having, or even if you're not having any of those and you just want to troubleshoot to make sure that your life is sort of moving forward effectively and you're not missing anything. Therapy can really serve a variety of different purposes in one's life. But we here at Oops the Podcast definitely recommend it. And we think you should try out BetterHelp.
BetterHelp.
If you're looking for a good spot. If you're thinking of starting therapy, BetterHelp is a good place to do it. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. You just fill out a brief online questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Guys, I have been using it. It is very, very easy and straightforward. It's also very precise. So it's easy for you to navigate a lot of the problems that you might have trying to figure out your own therapy situation in person, where maybe there's only a couple therapists at the place you go and you get matched with somebody and then you show up and you work with them for a session and it's awkward to not keep going to them. So you keep going to them and it just turns into this whole thing. You don't really need to deal with that with BetterHelp, and you can specifically decide what type of therapist you want. If there's kind of specific things that they specialize in that you're interested in, who and what they are, if you prefer a man, a woman, if you
someone from the LGBTQ community,
whatever it might be, BetterHelp has got you covered. So anyway, get it off your chest with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/oops today to get 10% off of your first month. That's BetterHelp. Help. BetterHelp.com/oops.
Remember last week we were talking about accepting compliments and how we both need to be better about it?
I remember that.
There was a scenario, maybe 24 hours after we recorded the episode, where I encountered somebody that did not accept a compliment. And it was enraging. I go to an open mic. I see this guy performing. He makes some joke. I thought it was, no one really laughed at it, but I was like, that's a good joke. And I wasn't going to say anything, but I just made a note of it. I'm walking out of the mic and he's standing right in front of me. He holds the door for me. I'm right behind him. We have a moment of interaction, and I casually mentioned him hey dude, that JFK joke, that was a really good bit. And he looks at me without even thinking or digesting the compliment, just says, no, that sucks.
Jeez.
I fucking hate that guy. Fuck you, dude.
Was it actually a JFK joke, or you were just giving it?
It was a JFK joke, or it was a president joke. Regardless, fuck you. Just why? What am I supposed to say after that?
What did you say?
I just walked away. It's like, I'm done with this. Like, no, fuck you.
You just walked away?
I just walked by him. He's like, it was as I was walking by him. I was like, hey, dude, I like that bit. And he said, no, it sucks.
And you just kept walking.
I was like, okay.
Did you said you interacted before you said that? Did you say, was he like, oh, sorry, I'll hold the door for you? Like,
No, he just saw me. I was
you're
right
like, hey,
behind him.
what's up?
He was going to hold the door open for me, and I was right behind him with my hand up to embrace it. So I was bound to have some sort of verbal exchange with him as I was going to pass him.
Just like, thanks, dude, because the door.
Yeah.
And then
I just wanted to let him know because no one was paying attention to it, and I was just like, I thought that was funny, and it's a nice thing to say when if you're on stage and you say a bit and you think it's funny and you don't get any feedback, then you might doubt it. And I just wanted to let him know if you thought that was funny because you said it on stage, and I just want you to know I thought it was funny too. And so you should keep doing it. And for him just to say, no, it sucks.
And you just pretended he had said nothing when that happened. You're like, dude, that was a great bit. You acted as if you went, oh, sick. Thanks, man.
I just walked away.
You went.
I immediately took out my phone and I sent you a voice memo. We may have. I don't know. I think I gave you a voice memo.
Oh, you may have given
Maybe
me a
I
voice
called you, you didn't answer.
I called you.
You hate me.
Bro,
And
I
then-
called you, dude.
Did you?
Do you not remember this? I called you to tell you something.
Oh, you.
And you told me. But you may have also then just voice noted it to me. These might be separate things.
These are separate.
Okay.
These are separate things. You called me to tell me about that thing you did. And that was separate than the voice memo that I left.
It's all blending together.
It's all blending together.
It's all blending together.
You ever see the videos on old YouTube? Will it blend? That is the question. You remember that guy? No. Okay, there's this.
What were the things?
This was so ahead of its time. This old man worked for this company called LYNCH, and I would stump. This was like 2006 YouTube, and he would just.
It's like branded content. OG branded.
He was like a Billy Mays, and he would. It was sick. This would go
Who's that guy
bonkers
again?
on TikTok.
He just sells everything, right? Billy Mays.
Billy
Or
Mays.
is there a specific product? I forget.
OxyClean. He's the king of OxyClean. And anyway, so this guy, he would do this video series on YouTube, Will It Blend? He's a cute old guy. He's wearing a lab coat. He's selling this really high-tech, durable blender. And he would put iPads in it. He put iPods in it, anything. And he'd have little funny little jingles in the beginning, jingles in the end. They would blend it. You'd peel off the lid. It would be smoky. And he'd be like, ooh, don't breathe this. He's this cute old guy.
Did he put water in it too?
No, he just blended it.
Oh my God.
It's an old YouTube thing.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's when you're trying to blend something and it doesn't work and it starts smelling smoky. That's like even when it's just like a normal thing, you like didn't put enough water in or whatever or enough milk.
Oh, don't drink that.
Don't drink that.
Don't drink that.
Thanks again to everybody who came out to Detroit. Those shows were super fun. I love Detroit, dude. I think it's a great city. I can kind of get into specifically why more, but I was thinking about what my top 5 favorite cities are in America, and I can tell you what they are. I don't know if you have thoughts on this as well or you care, but my top 5 cities in no particular order, I would say are New York, Miami, Seattle, Detroit, and New Orleans. Those are my favorite cities. And, you know, maybe not specifically if I had to live somewhere, I don't know that I would choose some of those places that are in my top 5. So I guess that's a little bit of an asterisk. Like, what do you mean by favorite cities? And I just mean cities that I find to be unique, charming, fun to visit, etc. Detroit is super cool because you can sort of experience all the different eras that have occurred there in the past couple hundred years in a very short period of time, which I think is pretty unique. Mm-hmm. Like one of the top cities in the world at one point, is from a economic output perspective, I think, with the whole auto industry, everything. So like you had some of the most successful businessmen in the world over there, right? So like that shows, which is cool. You also had the sort of rapid decline that started in the 70s through maybe sort of peaking after the housing crisis in 2008, 2009, whatever. And then downtown was a ghost town. And now it's sort of rebuilding. And all those sort of things you can experience in a short period of time just by looking around. A lot of history. find it super interesting. Went to this great cocktail bar called Willow. Check it out if you go there. It's kind of a speakeasy, super duper cool. And just had a good time, bro.
That's great, dude.
Yeah.
I don't think about Detroit too much. It is crazy how quickly they were at their highest, and then they went through, their bottom pit in a period of time. It's surprising to think that like a place in America that could happen.
Right. Swift decline, just goes to show, don't take things for granted, but it is coming back. I can never remember the guy's name, but it's Dan something. He's sort of like the hero. I think the guy who owns the Cavaliers. I can never remember the guy. I always want to say Dan Brown, but I know that's the guy who wrote the Da Vinci Code. I don't know why I just laugh like that. Da Vinci Code.
Dan Gilbert.
But
what does he have to do with
he sort of masterminded the whole
Michigan?
He masterminded the whole sort of revitalizing the downtown Detroit. And he would speak about it when it was all first happening, but about 10 years ago or more. And I remember being down there around that time and checking it all out. And it's just kind of always been fascinating to me. Certainly rooting for the city and really enjoyed going and visiting. I have a lot of friends there too. I just had a nice dynamic weekend. You know what I mean? I went, met up with some pals. We had some drinks. We hung out. I hit a national park, of course, with this War of 1812 battlefield.
I remember when that was.
Yeah, very nice.
Sorry.
I realize I don't know anything about that war, and I'm, by going to this, I kind of learned more. But sort of a significant yet elusive point in history that they kind of glaze over in elementary school, at least in my elementary school experience. You learn about the Civil War in pretty good detail, as well as the Revolutionary War, but you don't really learn much about the War of 1812. And we're not going to get into that right now either.
I was hanging out with my grandfather, Alfonso, recently, and I recently just found out that he served as a mechanic for the Army.
Really?
Yeah. And I found that out. I'm 28 years old, and I just found that out.
That's crazy, bro.
And it was just because I just casually asked him, tell me a little bit about yourself. Because he always asks how I'm doing. Oh, how's comedy going? How's living in the city? Oh, you're so busy. Grandparents tend to always just care about what you're doing. But if you go to ask them how they're doing or what they've done, they got a lot more to say than just I love you and I support you. So
totally. And sometimes it's underrated, that dynamic, because maybe they think you don't care.
Yeah,
you do care. And I think that's why Storyworth is such a wonderful tool and a potential gift to give for Father's Day this year, whether it's to your father, someone else's father, your grandfather, your uncle, whatever. And it's a great way to pull information out of people. I got this for my father one year, and it was fascinating, the amount of things I learned, because like you said, he's more likely to ask how I'm doing than I am to ask how he's doing, which I feel kind of guilty about, but this is a great thing. So here's how it works. Every week, Storyworth sends an email prompt to your loved one. They will answer this thought-provoking question, whatever it might be. And there's a bunch of great ones. Here's an example. Do you believe in a higher power? How did you decide how many children to have? What are your greatest fears? What store did you love to go to as a child? There's an endless amount of questions. These are just a couple of examples. Now, of course, they can pick and choose which ones they want to answer. If one of them makes them uncomfortable, whatever. There's enough variety that the right question will appear. After a year goes by, Storyworth compiles all the answers into a book, which is a wonderful keepsake for you to keep, where you can read about your loved one in a way that you never thought was possible. And to really help you get closer with them. And it's a great way to connect with loved ones. Highly, highly recommend this as a Father's Day gift. Give all the fathers in your life a unique, heartfelt gift that you'll all cherish for years. Storyworth. Right now, save $10 on your first purchase when you go to storyworth.com/oops. That's storyworth.com/oops to save $10 on your first purchase. So Ryan and I have a social engagement tonight that we're going to. And afterward, I want to hit the old circuit. I am very sore. I played tennis a couple of days ago, and I needed some ice. Now, the cold plunge can sort of double as an ice bath if it's cold enough. And I'll kind of just go and sit as far as I need to kind of deflate whatever the problematic area is. Now, I will say this, I have trouble going from the sort of chest to the neck. I kind of tap out at that. if it's cold enough. And the one that we're about to go to is very cold. So I don't last very long if I submerge past my chest. So what I will most likely do, which is what I typically do because the bottom half of my body tends to be more problematic than the upper half. Now, mind you, my shoulder's kind of fucked up right now, but still, I'm not going to bother. It's too cold. I can't handle it.
Really?
Yeah.
It's that cold?
It's pretty cold. But I'm going to stay in for like 10 minutes, which is like pretty gnarly. However, if you can make it like 90 seconds, you're good. But that 90 seconds feels like an eternity because it's freezing cold. And plus, there's people who are plunging. So, they're going all the way in and then up, and they're sort of displacing the water. So that can be unpleasant when you're here and you're used to it. But then once it goes a little bit up, fuck Ryan.
So it's a big pool?
No, it's not that big. It's a cold plunge. So like traditionally the cold plunges aren't huge. Now they have like the solo ones for people that you can like have at your house or whatever. But these communal ones can typically accommodate a couple people at once. And this one's no different. I'd say 3 or 4 people can sit in there comfortably, but nobody really sits in there besides me usually. So
interesting.
Want to hit a little sauna, hit a little cold plunge.
So you say 90 seconds, probably the suggested amount of time to not be a bitch?
No. Most people just dunk and get out, which sort of serves its own purpose as well. I do the more like post-playoff basketball game sit-in situation to try to reset everything.
I'm just like low-key better than everybody.
I mean, it's not intended to be a flex, Ryan. But you've said before you had never done it before, and I wonder how your thoughts are about it.
Huh? I'm interested. I don't have many thoughts right now. I'm going to try to go into it not really thinking too much about it. I've seen the clips. I have some friends text about it. I have friends that boast about how long they can do it. So we'll see. I'm excited to do it.
Yeah,
so it was a fun surprise.
Definitely. If you go more than I think 12 minutes, we don't take this as gospel, folks. Do your own research. But I think that the deflammatory aspects sort of begin to reverse themselves as you begin to die. So don't stay in for too long. You don't want to get hypothermia. But that water's pretty cold. And once you're in like the 40-degree range, you're not fucking around. What does it say there?
I'm laughing at what you said.
I saw you.
But I did look up the record for time spent in an ice bath. Can you guess?
6 hours. Is this something crazy?
3 hours, 6 minutes, and 45 seconds.
Nice.
And look at the picture. It's just a woman in agony.
It's a woman in agony.
And she's like she's neck deep. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, dude, I'm looking forward to that.
Dude, that's too funny. This reminds me of something because I just guessed the time.
Uh-huh.
I thought my guess was reasonable. I didn't get it right. No big deal. I was on the Yak the other day, which for those of you guys who don't know, it's a podcast. It's on Barstool. It's fun. Just a bunch of bros hanging out, busting each other's balls, basically, talking about what's going on. So anyway, they asked me a trivia question. And it was unclear to me if they had asked this previously or not, but they go, who invented floors and what year were they invented? This was the question.
That's a good question.
And I go, I don't know. The ancient Egyptians. And then everyone's like, oh, like, because I guess someone else had guessed something stupid. Like Big Cat was like, I guessed 1850, which is pretty funny. And then I was like, I don't know, 3000 BC. That is the exact correct answer.
You guessed it immediately. Like, that's it?
I just guessed. It was a guess. And look, that's a pretty reasonable guess. I mean, like the ancient Egyptians invented a lot of stuff, and around the time they were around is that time. I don't know the specific parameters of when the ancient Egyptians were, sort of thriving, but it was a pretty like Family Feud on the board guess, in my opinion. I still got it exactly right, which is a coincidence and crazy. I didn't know that. I just guessed and I got it. Right? Great. I called my dad and I told him, and he goes, "You're fucking with me. I don't believe you that you guessed that." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "There's no way you guessed. You must have known before." I was like, there's a video. You can very clearly see that I didn't know before. He goes, "Okay, well then you must have guessed the question." He's like, "You must have," so no, he goes, "You must have like figured out that they were going to ask you that question. And then you looked up the answer." And I'm like, dude, the odds of me guessing what they were going to ask me are way less likely than me guessing when floors were invented and by who. And he goes, all right. He goes, that's a clever thing you said. He goes, we're going to have to save this for G3. I still don't believe you. So
Big G, give him
Big
the
G.
flowers he deserves for that miraculous guess.
thank you. Give me my flowers.
Just
Big
say
G.
I'm proud of you. It's all
Enough
I
of this
wanted.
bullshit, dude.
That's why he called you.
I know. I was calling to say I did a good job. I was clever. I guessed. And alas, I was fucking slapped and made to feel stupid. This is another funny thing he did. He made a suggestion about something that I should talk about on the pod. And it was a bad suggestion. He basically told me I should criticize a place. Okay. Now I wasn't planning to do this because I know that if you broadly criticize a place, you will get shit for it and people will get mad at you. And like, do you want to deal with that? Maybe, maybe not. But I also don't agree in broadly criticizing places. I think it can be like condescending. It can give off this sort of northern arrogance. I don't want to be like that. I'm not like that. So in my head, I knew that I wasn't going to do it. But because I wanted to avoid being the guy who's constantly disagreeing, I don't want to be, God forbid, my dad says something and I just disagree constantly, right? I'm like, I'm just going to let him have this one. So he goes, you should do this. And I go, yeah, I should. And then he goes, actually, he didn't even say actually. He goes, you should be careful if you're going to say that. I'm like, dude, this is so annoying. I only said yes to be nice. And now I'm being punished for the stupid thing that you said that you're now disagreeing with. Are you out of your fucking mind? And then he's like, okay, Julia, okay. And I was like, oh my God.
Do you know what Big G is? He's a gaslighter.
Big G is a gaslighter.
Big G, the gaslighter. You're a riot.
G is for gaslighter. Big gaslighter.
There's no way you're going to win in that situation.
Dude.
You're always going to lose.
What a crazy thing.
You're always going to be the villain. Big G.
We're going to get Big G back on the show. He wants to take a trip with me at some point this summer. I want to do it. You got to make time for your family, of course. But I'm just like, when am I going to go on this and he wants to go for a long trip. I'm like, Dad, I can't go for 2 weeks. And then he's like, well, I don't want to go for 4 days. And I'm like, okay, well then I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you, man. Like I want to hang with you. And one day when my dad isn't around, I'll be really sad that I didn't go on the trip if I don't go. I want to go and I want to spend time with him and I want to hang. But look, I'm in my crucial working years. I'm trying to make my mark, make my legacy so that I can support a family someday and not have to worry and all that shit. And it's tough, bro. Right?
It's very tough. You should be very careful if you start talking down about other places. What the heck?
Come on, dude. What the heck, Big G?
What the heck?
So anyway,
that's funny.
I know you had something you wanted to bring up.
Just another. Here's something that's been taking up way too much space than it deserves in my head. The other day on Monday, it was my uncle's birthday, and
happy birthday, Uncle Lynch.
Uncle Sean.
Uncle Sean.
I love him.
Is it Sean Lynch?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I know another Sean Lynch.
Really?
Good name, yeah. He's a comedian. Anyway,
I shot him over a text, a happy birthday text. And him and my aunt, they're very generous. They always give me nice gifts, and they're always very nice, and they always send cards. And even though I don't send cards, they always send me cards. They keep me included. And, when you become an adult, you have to go out of your way to do that for other people. So I appreciate them. And so I obviously always make a point to reach out to them on their birthdays at the very least. Send them a text. They're busy. I don't call.
Nice young man, Ryan.
They're really, I love them. And I shot my uncle a text and I said, happy birthday. Hope you're having a great day. And he didn't respond. That's okay. My fear is my aunt or my uncle thinking that I didn't wish him a happy birthday.
Right. If he
overlooked the text message, and then come next time they go to send out a card, or next time there's an event and they want me to be included with it, that they think, I don't want them to think to themselves, that ungrateful piece of shit.
Mm.
And I am nervous that through a miscommunication, my aunt will believe that I didn't reach out to my uncle to wish him a happy birthday.
Well, wouldn't your uncle think that you didn't reach out to your uncle also?
Yeah.
You're less worried about him thinking that? You think she's
I'm
more
worried.
sensitive?
I'm worried about him for not seeing the text,
right?
And then sitting at the dinner table with my cousins and my aunt and saying, that piece of fucking shit, Ryan, ungrateful bastard, didn't wish his uncle a happy birthday after all the things that we do for him. after all the little gift bags that we send around Easter and things like that, you spent a lot of time tying those ribbons on those plastic bags of M&Ms for Ryan. That fucker. The least he could do is wish me a happy birthday. Well, I did. I did wish him a happy birthday, and that's in my head right now. I just wish that he texted me. I just hope he saw it.
My dad sometimes doesn't see, boomers don't see text sometimes. And also, they also don't reply to text sometimes. And they also don't know how to emote during text, which means texting them is perilous. Mm-hmm. You got to do it with caution. You're going to get back a very bland response because, bro, they have to put on their glasses to look at the fucking phone. Like, it takes them a sec. And, if you stew about text responses, you need to remember that they're not the same when you're looking at a text from a baby boomer.
Yeah.
But I feel you. And it's extra of you to be like, did you see that I wished you happy birthday? He's like,
100%.
Now why is this turning into me having to do something for you?
Yeah.
So maybe he did see it. Maybe he didn't. But I think the moral of the story, Ryan, you got to call the boomers.
Should I give him a call? Just in the future, call.
No, you should call him and wish him happy birthday and say, I was worried that you weren't going to see my text, and I wanted you to know how much I appreciate you, and I wanted to make sure that you knew that I was wishing you a happy birthday and that I was thinking about you on your birthday. I'll appreciate that.
That is nice.
You want to do it right now?
No, he works in the city.
Okay. He's busy.
He'll be. Okay. That's a really good idea. Guys, I want you to know I really would. I would give him a call, but I don't think he'd like that at this hour.
Right. He'd be like, what, Ryan? He'd be like, is everything okay? And you'd be like, no, sorry, Uncle Sean. I was actually just feeling insecure and figured I would interrupt your day in an extremely entitled way and say happy birthday in case you didn't already see that I wish you happy birthday. See what I did?
Yeah, I texted you on Monday. Because what's Monday? Yeah, that was your fucking birthday.
Monday was your birthday,
not forget
Uncle Sean.
Ugh.
Uncle Sean.
No, I love him. It's most likely an oversight. But if it's not, that's what's keeping me up at night.
Oh, yeah.
So that's that. So happy birthday. It was also the same birthday as my Nana. So
happy birthday, Uncle Sean and Nana Sean.
Leona Russo. She turned 93. Wow. She spent the whole day watching Hallmark movies with my mom and my other aunt. Lovely lady.
Big G likes Hallmark movies too.
Yeah.
They can maybe all hang sometime.
They're easy to digest.
That would be great. Okay, dude, not to, humble brag here, but I got recognized the other day. And there's a funny story that goes along with it. I know you're like, oh, what's happening right now?
I'm not thinking that one bit.
We are, Ryan and I'm sure you get recognized from time to time. It's not something worth necessarily sharing because you'd think that a person who gets recognized is used to it. If you're a person who's sitting there being like, I got recognized, that makes you seem like a person who doesn't get recognized. Okay. You got to play it cool. If you're getting recognized, you can't be talking about it, or it makes it seem like you don't get recognized. I'm bringing this up for a specific reason.
Okay.
I'm taking the train to get my rental car. Somebody gets on the train as well and says to me, they go, "Are you famous?" And I said, "I don't know. Am I?" Which I think is a good reply.
That's hot, dude.
Bro, it's a good reply. I'll tell you, there's a lot of good back and forth here. It's a good reply because in my mind, I am not famous, but I'm also not an idiot. I realize that there's a scenario where somebody might think they've seen me somewhere, therefore that makes me famous. When I was a little kid, anybody who I saw on a TV screen was an A-list celebrity. So I get that it's all about kind of perspective, right? So I'm willing to entertain this conversation just in case. Maybe I am the person she thinks I am. Maybe I'm not. Doesn't matter. She goes, "Are you famous?" I said, "I don't know. Am I?" She goes, "I don't know. Are you?" And I said, "Well, I guess it depends who you ask." It's all relative. These things are all relative. And her friend goes, "That is a good point." Right? This is funny. This is good.
It's a long exchange before finding out.
Then the girl goes, she goes, "Well, if you are famous, congratulations. And if you're not, there's still time."
What?
It's a good line, right?
That's great. And then that was it?
No, then she goes, "But it's giving Barstool." And I was like, okay.
Oh, okay.
There's a chance that you've seen me on something on Barstool. So I'm glad that this isn't embarrassing because there's nothing worse than someone saying, "Hey, are you something?" And you're like, yeah, that's me. And then it turns out they thought you were someone else and you're no one to them. And you were acting like you were someone. That's really humiliating. Never forget the time where I thought people wanted to take a picture with me, but I was just standing in front of the iconic neon lights at the bar in St. Pete.
At the laundromat.
At the laundromat, which, by the way, I will be back there in this fall, obviously. My ongoing residency in the Tampa St. Pete greater area, where I call my second home.
That's great, dude.
Also great. Also a great
What
place.
a romantic screenplay that would make
Nice,
if they were to just walk away after they say, you still got time.
Yeah.
Because that's such a nothing of an interaction.
I know.
That's lovely.
I know. But I was not going to say, I had to let her figure it out because I was too afraid of making a fool of myself. I think that is a very cringe delusion of grandeur. I know you guys are going to say, well, Julia, we spent half of this fucking episode talking about how, who cares if you're making an ass out of yourself? But anyway, entertain this exercise anyway. Delusions of grandeur, when it comes to that, I find to be pretty cringe. You know what I mean? Like, here I am thinking I'm this big famous person and nobody knows who I am or cares about me. And yet here I am in a scenario where, yes and no, please allow some privacy from me and my family at this time. I am far from that. Please bother me at any moment. It will make my day. Chances are I am sitting there stewing in my brain about moments of shame, fear for the future, how I'm not good enough. And if you come up to me and say, hey, Julio, oh, my boyfriend loves you, or whatever, my girlfriend loves you. Hey, don't get any ideas. Whatever you want to say to me will make my day. So just feel free to bother me at any time. And I look forward to having to take this back someday when I make it so big.
Yeah. Do something to me. If you see me, just do something
Do
to
me.
Spit on me.
Do me.
Ugh.
I watch some of Andrew Schultz, friend of the pod, love the guy, hold him in very high regard. One of the nicest, most helpful guys. And he does it without being weak, which is very difficult to do, to be available and helpful and not weak. You know what I mean? You don't suddenly feel like, oh, because this guy's talking to me, I can feel more comfortable and I don't have to be as excited about how helpful he's being, which is a thing that can happen. Does that make sense?
I think so. I'm getting that.
Like, okay, if somebody, I don't know how to describe it, but like if people,
is he disarming, but also
but
firm?
like maybe
That doesn't make sense.
no, it does make sense. Disarming but firm is definitely a thing.
But did that relate to what you're trying to convey?
Sort of. Like he has this thing where you're so appreciative that he's kind of like giving you the time of day, but you also don't take for granted that he's giving you his time. Because sometimes it's this thing with comedy where like, it's almost like dating and it's immature, where it's like, if somebody wants me, they must not be good because I'm not good. And people respond positively to to people not giving them attention. They strive to earn that person's attention. And I don't know where that comes from. I don't know if it's from the like nature of comedy where like you're trying to make people laugh. You're trying to convince them that you're funny. The same way that maybe off stage you then suddenly are trying to convince people that you're worthwhile or something. I don't know. Whatever. It all goes into the same thing. Anyway, I think it's amazing the way Schultz is able to be helpful, present. You know, you'll text him with a question, he'll call you to help you find the answer. I've not encountered that many people like that. And he's able to be sincere too with it. Because sometimes people do this LA thing where they see you. Oh, hey, Ryan, good to see you. They look at you in the eyes. What are you up to? Oh, that's so cool. You're doing that. Wow, dude. Hey, man, it's always great. It's always great to see you, dude. Hit me up, dude. And then you text them and they don't reply. That's fucked up, bro. It's really rude. Like, don't play this game with me and then be like, oh, I didn't see it. It's all very calculated. Schultz, not like that. Real one. That motherfucker, he'll say, call me. And you call him and he answers and he'll help you without, and will never put himself in a position to be taken advantage of by you, because that happens too. Ooh, this guy likes me. Ooh, I should see if I can get more from him. You know what I mean? There's this sort of like unspoken thing where he's so respectful to you that you're respectful to him of his boundaries, because he's just a megastar now. And, you know, in comedy, people see the way that kind of hitching their wagons to the big choo-choo train can really get you ahead. So there is a temptation to be desperate. Anyway, that has nothing to do with what I'm about to say, but we just had to sing Andrew Schultz's praises for
Right there, boom.
What a great
Imagine
guy.
we just clipped all of
We
that.
clipped this.
Because Instagram allows longer than 90-second videos. What was that, 3 minutes? We do 3 minutes with captions. Just you talking about Andrew like that.
Yeah, I
And then
comment
we'll invite him to collab.
Right. Invite him to collab on the post and comment on it being like, hey, I'm going to be in LA next time you are headlining the crypto.com arena. What a coincidence. It's always been my dream to.
With this emoji, though.
Yeah.
As you were.
No, but I'm impressed with the way he is able to sort of talk about his dreams and aspirations openly and like get his followers and fans to be so excited for him.
Mm-hmm.
It's really a special thing.
He just sold out MSG, right?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
And I believe he also sold out the crypto.com arena.
Shit.
And bro, he posted a clip of himself at Radio City saying, as he walked off stage, I was at the show, saying, next time I see you, it'll be where the Knicks play.
Ugh.
Bro, Radio City seats 6,000. MSG seats 25. I don't even know, but he did the arena too. So anyway, he's doing great. He deserves it all. Congrats to him. And sometimes I watch the way he operates and I'm like, this guy's so charismatic. It's incredible. He's the fucking man.
That's great. When he popped into the studio when we were setting up, because he was doing other podcasts back when we were at Barstool.
Oh, yeah.
And I met him for 10 seconds. He looked me in the eyes and
He's the man.
he made me feel like $1 million.
He's the man, dude.
He like just looked me in the eye, shook my hand, said, "Hi, I'm Andrew."
God could be president.
Like a fucking person. Some people aren't people. He seemed like a person. That's great. Did you? I know that we're like a little behind on this, but did you see him on the Tom Brady roast?
You know what's
seen any
funny,
clips of
dude?
that?
It was so long. I made it to. I forget. I had just finished Tony Hinchcliffe, and I watched everything before Tony Hinchcliffe, and then I had to go, so I haven't finished it yet. But Belichick was the last person I saw, and then I haven't been able to watch this. But I'm assuming he came after that.
Yeah, Schultz was up.
Yeah. I'm sure he did great.
It was really awesome. I'll just say I'm surprised at how unfiltered that entire broadcast was.
Have you watched any of those before?
I've seen I remember going to my buddy's houses to watch Bob Saget, Justin Bieber, all the roasts. Yeah, I used to watch them on Comedy Central. But like that was unfiltered. They said some crazy shit that you haven't seen in 10 years, 15 years.
Interesting.
So,
Yeah.
it was really, really long. It was over 3 hours.
Yeah.
It was over 3 hours. We watched it in little segments, but probably like hour-long segments. But that was really fun to watch. That was refreshing. You don't see stuff like that.
Totally. Everybody had some great singers. Nikki Glaser, obviously
She
masterful
killed.
up there. She's a great roaster.
She was awesome.
We love her too. Has she ever? I don't think she's done the pod before.
I don't think so.
Let's see if we can get her in here. Yeah, that would be fun. We love Nikki, and I thought Tony Hinchcliffe was great too. But everybody was good.
Yeah.
Roasts are interesting. They're as much about good selection of jokes as they are about delivery, because people they collect jokes. So they'll write some, they get some from other people, blah, 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 blah. And, curating just a killer roast is a skill set for sure.
Yeah.
She did a great job. All right, guys. Well, this is a great episode, Ryan. Good hanging with you as always.
Too.
Oops, the podcast, guys. Check us out. oopspodcast@gmail.com. Send us your emails. We always love hearing from you. At Oops the Podcast on Instagram and TikTok. Give us a follow. Share our clips. Get in the mix. I am going to be in Boston, like I said, the 1st of June. Lynch is going to be there with me.
Hell yeah.
Show
up.
It's going to be great. Joined by a couple other good comedians with us as well. JC Mendoza and Hannah Dickinson will be on the show. Hannah's been on the pod before. She rules. Then the I think it's the 19th of June. I'm in Portland, Oregon at Helium. Should be a fun one. And then the 3rd of August in Pasadena, California. Working on a couple other dates. I got that St. Pete thing coming up in the fall. And once I know what's happening with my special, we are going to probably hunker down a bit more and get some more dates on that calendar. So don't miss it. At Not Julio G on Snap and TikTok. Lynch, anything to add?
Yeah, I'll be in Boston on the 1st of June. At Ryan is really polite. And please send us some more emails, grievances. Love the grievances, and some of your dreams.
We actually got a good one. We'll read it on the next one.
Yeah, we're excited to see what's going on when you're sleeping. So we'll see you in your dreams, and we'll see you on Thursday. Take care.